Individuals and companies holding ZiG by Friday lost 40% of the value of the money. And from a broader perspective, the ZiG chasing the USD on the market was also reduced by 40%. In the process, the central bank successfully mopped up excess liquidity before injecting foreign currency into the market. There is, however, mixed feelings towards this move.
These people have been living from hand to mouth. Pension yakashanda mari yake ichine value, but kana zvasvika pastate yakadai so handichazivi kana kuona kuti pension yakutambira mari $10 here kana kuti yamari.
Isusu chikafu chedu chatinobika panapa hatisati takwidza tingoripo pataingoberi ipapo, asi takuzonoondoka kwezuva unoona kuti hamuna chamunenge maita, hamuna chamunenge mashanda.
However, for the formal retail sector, they may have just been given breathing space. The official rate at 14 was suffocating them.
So the devaluation means that they will not be enjoying, those who are accessing foreign currency on the official market. Going forward, they will not be enjoying a much lower exchange rate at 14, since it's now at roughly 25.
The new rate, however, also brings with it new challenges for those that earn in local currency.
There are some, maybe if you look at an individual level, there are some who might have been paid their salaries a day before or on the day of devaluation. It means that the value of their salaries decreased by more than 43%.
And while the exchange stability could be achieved in the short term, reality is there are some companies that have lost half their capital or earnings. And depending on their profit margins, some are actively in the red.
In business, some would have bought their raw materials or sold their products at a rate, using a rate of 15, and then the next day there is this devaluation, which means whatever they are going to receive will be 43% lower than what they were expecting. So again, that's loss of value for business. It's working capital that has been wiped out.
The biggest debate has been on whether monetary authorities must adopt an exchange rate determined by market forces as opposed to a controlled one. This debate, however, must look at advantages and disadvantages of sudden devaluations as opposed to gradual loss of value or appreciation.
We need to sort out the exchange rate to make sure that there is either no gap between the parallel market and the official exchange rate, or we significantly reduce it to less than 15%, so that there are no pricing distortions within the market, which will continue to, if it continues, then businesses will continue to lose value.
Fears on the ground are that after this, retailers and other business may now forward price. This will in turn hurt the consumers.
So one way we might actually say the government might consider in the short term to possibly subsidize especially the basic commodities so that most people can actually afford that.
More than any other time, the consumer protection may need to try and keep businesses in the lane.
I think the monetary authorities need to come through. The manufacturers ought to be part of it. In fact, I would say the whole supply chain needs to come together and try and see how best the consumer can be rescued.
This week, the full implications of central government measures will be felt. Some are counting losses, while some came out of it stronger. But the most important thing is that stakeholders want stability for a prolonged time period. Reporting for ZTN Prime, I'm Tafara Sibochiwe in Harare.
We are now joined by Bankers Association of Zimbabwe President Lawrence Nyazema to get the bank's perspective on the RBZ measures. So very good evening to you, Mr. Nyazema. Now, what corrective measures have been brought about by the measures implemented by the central bank?
We had a number of exchange rates obtaining in the market, ranging from 14, which was the official exchange rate, and as high as 30. Which is the so-called parallel market rate. Foreign currency that was available on the willing buyer, willing seller window was mostly coming from the 25%. That comes from exporters. And we were buying that at 14, selling it to some importers at 14. But unfortunately, the consumer was not getting the full benefit of those subsidized foreign currency funds, in that some importers were pricing their own goods at rates that were working out to between 20 and 30. Therefore, arbitrage opportunities were prevalent in the market. In order to protect our export sector and be fair to them, it was important that the rate be adjusted to levels of 25. What will be important going forward is to ensure there are more frequent movements in the exchange rate rather than have one big jump of 78.5%. I'm happy that from the monetary policy minutes, there is commitment for more exchange rate flexibility from the central bank. And as the banking sector, we commit to continue working with the monetary authorities to ensure that there is stability in the market and we promote economic activity.
Konapo ipapo ba ZTN Prime, DSTV channel 294, the place to be.